Friends, we are discussing a important topic on supply chain management. In earlier session, we have studied about the definition of supply chain management, aims of supply chain management, and the Stevens model of supply chain integration. Now, in this session, we will study the benefits from supply chain improvement. We will also see what is the scope of supply chain improvement. Whatever aims we have discussed, we have further analyzed. Then we will try to understand the bullwhip effect. Bullwhip effect is the nothing but the distortion in the information. We will also try to give you a brief picture about the supply chain performance. It is said in now today's environment, the company is not going to compete with the another company. It is the supply chain of a company which will compete with the supply chain of another company. If we talk about what we are going to get from the supply chain improvement, if there is an improvement in the supply chain management, then it will provide you or a business a competitive advantage to the companies. You will appreciate that supply chain management improvement means supply chain is well integrated, supply chain is well responsive to the customer demand. A survey was conducted in US with 65 closely associated engineers, project manager, director and executive of the firms dealing in the area of supply chain. Now, they have given some improvement, just like reduction in the operating cost. When we will identify the non-value added activities, when we are integrating the whole supply chain, we are going to reduce the operating cost. There is an improvement in the responsiveness. There is a reduction in the cycle time, and the most important is the improvement in the customer service. That means if there is an improvement in the supply chain, the business or the market share will improve as the customer is more satisfied. We are going to have the simplified operation. There will be improvement in the quality, and the improvement will support significantly to the volume growth. It will also reduce the capital basis and the improved return on capital. It will further support a growing or a diverse customer base. It will effectively offer a greater variety of products. It will focus on the core competency. The benefits of supply chain improvement can be harnessed by better integration of supply chain in terms of information, material, and money flows. Better coordination of different functions is possible through ERP implementation and the supply chain solution. As if you recall, ERP integrate the whole system and thus provide you a integrated system. Now, if I try to recall what I have discussed, you have to answer my question, what are the benefits achieved from an integrated supply chain. Now we will realize, and the business is realizing, there is always distortion in case of demand when it moves from customer to retailer to distributor to manufacturer and then finally to the supplier. This type of distortion in demand is known as bullwhip effect. Distortion of demand along the supply chain is a common problem. There is a known expert who mentioned this thing in his article in Harvard Business Review in 1997, that there is a distortion of demand and that creates a big problem in the supply chain. While explaining the law of industrial dynamics, Babbage postulated that variation in the demand for the product increases as it passes through a series of transfer in a supply chain and a stock control ordering is used. Many authors have explained bullwhip effect or flywheel effect in the supply chain. Uncertainty in economy, market being in and out of the recession, tendency of management to overreact to periodic economic swings which are very common, and creating a safety net in material planning are few reasons for the amplification of demand in a supply chain. The effect of amplified demand distortion is evident in a factory which is downstream link on the chain. This effect in the modern supply chain literature, which we have discussed, is termed as bullwhip effect. It represents the increase in the variability of demand as we move up the supply chain from retailer to distributor to manufacturer to the supplier. Why it is called as a bullwhip effect? As if you see the whip which we use for bull, when your slight movement will give a large impact on the bull skin. That is why it is called as a bullwhip effect. The effect of bullwhip effect is many. For example, there will be more stock out situations, there will be increased inventory level, overtime production and idle production scheduling, excessive or inefficient or insufficient capacity, poor customer service due to unavailable product, and expedited shipment. Now, what are the causes of all these bullwhip effect? The first important cause is error in demand forecasting. But remember, this we have explained in our topic forecasting, that no forecasting is accurate. Therefore, we have to work whatever demand we are estimated on the basis of certain forecasting technique. Therefore, if there is a certain errors in the demand forecasting, it will cause bullwhip effect. Due to forecasting error, supply chain partners go into speculation game related to the actual demand. As the number of supply chain partners increases, the demand variability gets amplified as we move from customers end in the supply chain to the manufacturer end. To counter this effect, a possible measure is to share the consumption data with the upstream member. That means all the players needs to work on the same data. But what is happening, that if the retailer is working on some data. He remembers that earlier when he asked for the 100 items, the dealer or the distributor was not able to deliver the 100 items. So what he will do, by predicting his sales, he will ask for the 200 data. Now dealer will do the same thing. He will amplify the demand, assuming that earlier the manufacturer was not able to deliver the product. He will amplify it by 100 items. So from 100 it becomes 200 and 200 becomes 300. And when it reaches to the manufacturer, if he tries, he will try by putting his own safety stock, and he will put again 100. So he will give the data to the supplier for 400. Now this supplier is a poor fellow. He will make his production plan for 400. Now what is going to be happen? Due to decrease in the demand, retailer will reduce its demand, dealer will reduce, manufacturer will reduce, the item will remain with the supplier. Now what efforts are required to minimize the bullwhip effect? The first is the point of sale data, or in short we say POS data, given to the distributor and the manufacturer. Use of EDI, electronic data interchange, and the internet to share the data. We have to work on the vendor managed inventory or the continuous replenish programs. We have to work on the direct sale technique to get the downstream demand information correctly and accurately. We have to share the sales and the capacity and the inventory data to reduce the speculation, to minimize the gaming. Second important cause is the order batch. It is one of the important cause of bullwhip effect, and it is driven by the following factors. The first important is the economies of the scale in the order cost. Economies of scales in the transportation. That means if we have a 1 truckload or we have a less than 1 truckload, which will be preferred? MRP system, which is based on the monthly or the periodically updating approach. Then push ordering. To meet a quarterly sales quota, we need the drive for ordering batching. To counter this effect, we need to take the following measures. We have to minimize the ordering cost. We have to use the electronic data interchange technology, and we have to standardize the ordering processes. We have to go for the innovative transportation, just like third-party logistic provider or 3PL system. Third one is your price fluctuation. In case of price fluctuation, we used to go for the main reason for the bullwhip effect. It is driven by price discount, quantity, volume discount, coupons, rebates given by the supply chain partners. These causes swings in the demand, resulting into a high during a low price period and low during the normal price period. Now, how you will encounter this effect, or how you will counter this? The most possible approach is avoid price discounting or the volume discounting. Always follow a same day low price strategy. Fourth important cause is the rationing and the shortage coming. That is the fourth reason for the bullwhip effect. This is characterized by the large swing in perceived demand at the upstream component of the supply chain. Here, what we mean that in future we are going to have the shortage in case of the festival season or in case of any news, just like news of strike. So what the manufacturer or the supplier or the dealers do, they used to collect or store or order for a high volume of the product. That makes the bullwhip effect. For encountering or for countering this, we have to allocate the product based on the past sales data, not on the current order. We have to share the information about the capacity. Long-term contracting to allow the vendor to adjust the capacity. If you go for the short-term or the arm's length relationship, this types of reason will always be present. Eliminate the generous return and the order cancellation policies. Inventory pileup should be avoided when there is no demand and huge shortage where there is a demand. A strategy should be formulated so that there should be least pileup or of inventory. Whether it is a inventory pileup or whether there is a stock out condition, both result in the loss of profitability. Moreover, this phenomenon is more serious when one go from the customer end of the chain. The possible approach we are going to discuss, because this is very important. Most important is that the sharing of information, channel alignment. Then we will go for the better operational efficiency. Internally also, the behavior is a serious area which is present throughout the chain. The classic case is marketing manufacturing conflict. We should avoid. There are examples. Electrolux is a company which gives a good example. There is a conflict between the marketing and the manufacturing. Dealers are not ready to make the payment for the refrigerators lying in their store, and the manufacturers were helpless. So we should avoid such type of a conflict. Demand forecast is sometimes inflated by the marketing so as to obtain longer allocation from the manufacturing unit. This saves from being caught in a short supply situation under a upward marketing or market swing. Manufacturing and the distribution people make a second guess apparently to nullify it, which creates further distortion in the demand. Similar way, other elements of the chain also contribute inventory building measures. Decisions regarding required capacity of the enterprise lag behind the changes in the demand. This causes further building of a safety net for the inventory or the lost sales due to underproduction. This will give you how the demand is inflated or distorted as we move from retailer to the supplier. I will ask a simple question. What are the causes of bullwhip? You please go through the earlier slides and find out the possible causes and the remedies of the bullwhip effect. Now, how you will measure a supply chain performance? It is well said. You cannot improve the performance unless and until you measure it. Therefore, how you will judge the performance of a supply chain? You have to find out how well it is performing. There are two important purposes. First, it gives idea about the current position or the current situation, and the second, it will identify it will helpful in identifying the gaps for the improvement. There are some literature available on the performance of supply chain. The one very well known is a Wayman, which has identified three types of measures of the performance, that is resource, output and flexibility. In this context, it is important to investigate the ways to improve the performance of a supply chain. You just see, these are the drivers of a supply chain performance. We need to make trade-off between the efficiency and the responsiveness. These are the drivers, just like inventory, transportation, facility, information, sourcing, pricing. So inventory, transportation and facilities, they are the logistical drivers, while information, sourcing and pricing, they are cross-functional drivers. And if you just see, in case of inventory, the cost of holding is a sign of efficiency, while availability is the sign of responsiveness. Transportation, consolidation is a sign of efficiency, speed is the sign of responsiveness. Facilities, again, consolidation or dedication is the sign of efficiency. Proximity, and if we have a flexible facility, it's the sign of responsiveness. Information, if our information provider is a slow but low cost, no duplication, they are showing the sign of efficiency. But if it is a highly responsive information, highly accurate information, even it is a costly, we will say it is a responsive. Pricing, if we have a constant price, it will give you a efficient. If you have a high price with a high level of customer service, we will go for the responsiveness. With this figure, I have tried to explain you that if you go for the cost saving, you are going to lose the responsiveness. If you are going for a low responsiveness, you are going to make the cost benefit. This is a strategic fit. You have to find a trade-off situation between the efficiency and the responsiveness. So if you are increasing the responsiveness, you have to trade off with the cost. Now, what are the different types of performance? As pointed out, resource is the one type of performance measure. So high level of efficiency will be the goal. The purpose is the efficient resource management. The example is the total cost distribution, manufacturing cost, inventory cost, return on investment. They are the example for the performance measure. Friends, we are discussing the supply chain performance measures. We were discussing resources, then output, then we will discuss about the flexibility. In case of output, our goal is high level of customer service. What we want to satisfy the customer, and the purpose is that we should provide the customer as per his or her choice. Customer should not feel unsatisfied. Now, examples are that number of items produced, then time required to produce a particular item, because we want to reach to the customer at the minimum time or in the optimum time. Then number of on-time deliveries, then product quality, total revenues, profit, fill rate, on-time delivery, back order. Back order is also important, that if the customer is not getting your product but you are able to provide him with a stipulated period of time, customer will definitely go for your product. Customer complaint, how you are going to deal the customer complaint, that is also very important. Flexibility is another important measure where the goal is to have the ability to respond to the changing environment. Suppose there is a change in the technology, how fast you can adopt that change and produce a product as per the customer demand. Now, what is the purpose of flexibility as an important measure? Because now the environment is totally uncertain, driven by the customer demand. Therefore, our supply chain should have the capability or ability to change as per the customer demand. Now, what are the different measures? Just like volume flexibility in terms of changing the volume, delivery flexibility in terms of changing the planned delivery dates, mix flexibility, change the variety of the product. Then new product facility, how much time you will require to make a new product as per the customer demand. We have a special, or you can say a model that is known as SCORE, Supply Chain Operational or Operations Reference Model, which is available by Supply Chain Council. It is available at supply-chain.org. If you want to see, you go and you will find a model that is very, very useful to understand the performance measure. Now we can divide the performance measure into two categories. One is your external and one is your internal. In case of external, supply chain delivery, flexibility, supply chain responsiveness, supply chain flexibility, all these comes under the performance attribute. Performance attribute definition we have given in the third column, and what is the expected, how you will measure it, just like delivery performance, fill rate, orders, fill rate order or perfect order fulfillment, lead time, supply chain response time, production flexibility, all these comes as a external performance measure. If we talk about the internal performance, then supply chain cost, supply chain asset, management efficiency, all these comes as a performance attribute. In the third column, we have defined the performance attribute, and what is output measure, that is the cost of good, your inventory days, asset time, cycle time, cash to cash cycle time, productivity, cost, total supply chain management. This will comes as a matrix for the performance measure. There are certain keywords which we have discussed, and for the just for the point of view of explaining, we are again providing you the explanation. Just like standard time is the time which a worker takes along with the some allowances. Warehousing, we keep it for keeping the storage and handling the inventory from taking the receipt of supplier to the ending point of the consumption. Transportation means movement of goods from one node to the another channel. Original equipment manufacturer, OEM, is that buys and incorporate another manufacturer, that is supplier product, into its own product. In today's session, what is very important which we have discussed is about the aim of the supply chain, how the supply chain works, and the most important aspect which we have covered is the bullwhip effect. As you know, as we passes from retailer to dealer to manufacturer, the information get distorted. We have also discussed the important causes and their solution for the bullwhip effect. Remember, we cannot eliminate the bullwhip effect, but we can optimize it. We can minimize the bullwhip effect. We have also studied the benefits of supply chain improvement, that is harnessed by better integration of supply chain in terms of information, material and the money flow. Thank you.